You are listening to Arts on the Air, a bi-weekly-ish interview show dedicated to Savannah, Georgia's artists, musicians, and authors. Each episode will feature a guest in conversation about their philosophy, practice, and current projects, as well as their thoughts on the state of the arts in our community of Savannah. Our theme music is a clip of Summer Nights by the Eric Jones Trio. It's provided by our friend Mark Chesanow, who plays with the Eric Jones Trio. Hey everyone, welcome to Arts on the Air. This is Tamara Garvey, and I have the pleasure of sitting down today with local illustrator and artist and muralist Armando Nieto. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, good to have you. I discovered you on Instagram, so excited to sit down and speak to you. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio from your YouTube page. Armando is a professional illustrator born in Caracas, Venezuela. He says, interested in art since I can remember. Over the years, I've learned multiple mediums, including graphite, markers, watercolor, acrylic, and oil paint. And he also recently started doing digital illustration and animations. So what brought you to Savannah originally from Venezuela?
I came here to study at SCAD.
How had you heard of SCAD from there?
In the school where I was studying in Venezuela, they kind of promoted. And I went to a meeting where they came with one of the advisors from SCAD, and they kind of promoted the university. I went one of those meetings.
Yeah. Did you know anybody else who came to SCAD too?
I have a few friends that they didn't study with me, but they studied in the same place.
Okay.
And they came here, and I met him here. And some of them told me, like, come here, it was the best place to study art. And
oh,
that
really?
kind of stuff.
You'd heard about it? Were you already doing art a lot in high school?
Yes, I started like when I was 14 years old, maybe a little younger, but like more professionally, one way to say it, when I was 14.
Yeah.
First was like a hobby, then it became more like my career.
Yeah.
What
did you think when you first arrived in Savannah?
I arrived a day before that snow fall in 2017.
Okay.
That wasn't in December. I think it was December 26th, 27th.
That big winter storm.
So the day, like the next day, I saw like the weather app, and I said like, okay, it's gonna snow today, blah, blah, blah. It's a mess. I got trapped at the hotel.
Oh my gosh. That was the biggest snowstorm we'd had here in, 10, 15 years or something. So you were at a hotel when that happened?
Yeah, I arrived like at 1 a.m. or 12 or something like that. I went to sleep. I go out earlier. The storm hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Then I guess I take a shower, sleep a little bit more, something like that. And then when I get through the window again, I saw the whole snow start falling. It was a lot already.
If your flight was a day later, you probably would have gotten delayed for days and days. That's wild. When you started at SCAD, so your degree's in illustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you already know what you wanted to major in, or did you have to try around?
No, I already knew. Also, I have to study 3 years, associate degree in Venezuela in illustration. So I came here to complete the bachelor.
Okay, so you didn't have to take as many classes at SCAD to get the degree?
A little more than half.
Yeah.
Of the courses that came as a transfer. Due to my portfolio, get a scholarship.
That's
so
good.
It wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, that's really good. In your illustration degree, were you doing both like traditional materials like painting and also digital art? Both of them? Yes.
I realized that I need to save time. So I stopped doing many stuff in traditional media to get into digital. So it gets faster. I don't have to scan or do extra fixes on digital, because sometimes I have finished the work in like traditional, I have to scan it. Then I have to edit, fix some stuff in here there. So I have the work fully completed for the class.
Yeah, so you started focusing on digital just to be able to like be faster.
Yeah, it's be faster. It was like a fast-paced time work.
Did you miss using the traditional materials at all?
I use it still.
Okay.
Like change it a little bit. I don't do many stuff in digital as before.
Yeah.
Was a little discouraged when this AI thing came. Like a big thing. So I want to do something that is kind of different and something that the people may say, oh, that's worth it, because I don't know why people believe the computer makes everything for you, and it's like, no, you have to draw it in the screen and everything. Of course, you have few tools that make your life easier. And one friend told me, like, we have been using like AI, one way to say it, from a long time ago, due to the Adobe programs or the drawing programs, because they kind of have, I don't know how to say, like programming or something like that, where it kind of help you to get the textures or the different brushes.
Yeah.
So many people think like they does the work for you.
Yeah.
You still have to make the textures, you have to make some stuff, have to change the brushes, the opacity, many stuff. Like, it's not as easy as it seems.
Yeah, there's something about when you're looking at something on a screen, I guess people can be fooled whether it was actually painted by somebody or by AI. But in person, there's no way to recreate if you have this physical painting that has texture to it and it's like paint built up on it and everything.
Yeah, you have the intentions to do it and you add your little touches. I like to, even I do realistic art, I always add some kind of mark on them, like some paint strokes. Like you notice them there and you can say, this is a painting. Like,
some thickness to it.
Yeah, some thickness, or it can be like the texture of the brush that it kind of imitates, for example, the rock texture or some of the facial features, stuff like that. I do that the same thing on digital. So you can see, this is a painting, even though it's kind of realistic thing. So
when you were in SCAD, I saw you have a concentration that, like a very specific thing that has to do with, is it game design? Can you talk about that a little?
No, it's concept art for animation and games.
Okay.
They basically taught you how to do character design, environment design, like the backgrounds for the characters and everything. They show you some techniques like perspective, how to use the programs too, especially Photoshop and Illustrator. I have a class. Well, that's not part of the concentration. I took I learned how to like lay out a book. But I took that concentration because I feel it's the place where I learn more stuff. Especially, you have to do almost everything, even a little animation.
Yeah, it seems like it's almost like a hybrid between the animation degree and the illustration degree.
Yeah, it's very close to animation, but I don't have to do the part to animate the things, the rigging and all the kind of stuff they do. They just make like the concept of everything. Yeah. They draw everything from zero to the concept so the animators can work with that. And then they animate it.
Yeah, so it's like, so you would be doing like the environment and the background and then designing the characters. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's
that depends like which part I want to focus, but yes. I even work in some films, from one of the student films. We got contact by some friend that say, I need help for this animation. And one of them, I make the line art. So someone can get it and color in it. And the second one, that was my senior year, I was able to work in this Wonder animation where I did the art lines and the coloring.
Is this like a new job title at animation studios? The person who would do like what you were trained to do, like to do the character design and do the backgrounds?
Well, there's what I learned is there's specific stuff for each. Let's say each job or each assignment for any animated film. Like one person do the thumbnails, the other one do the sketches or coloring, dividing several tasks.
So is that when you were getting ready to graduate? Is that the kind of thing you wanted to do afterwards, or
not too much? I wanna dedicate more to the fine art side of the illustration, which is what I'm kind of doing right now, like selling paintings, do commissions. I also teach.
I saw that, So what year did you graduate?
2021.
Okay. And you were in school during COVID too. That must have been really crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. So you graduated, and then what did you do right away when you were finished?
I got a job as a graphic designer in a company. They make stuff for toddlers.
Okay.
Like books, clothing, some animation stuff.
What's the company called?
It was called Baby Learn Online. It was a small company in California. I started with that. I also got in this company, like they make books. It's a non-profit company.
Yeah.
And they were dedicated to make books with a social message, like anti-bullying message, or maybe the last thing, how to get your finances as a kid.
Oh, that's very cool.
Like in a very cute way with books.
Yeah. You were doing graphic design for them.
Yeah, those are the projects they got at the time I was there. I got the anti-bullying one.
Okay. So this is the book that we can look up and buy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's still on the website. I have to look for it.
Okay. What is it called?
Come Roar.
Okay. Was there a big learning curve, like a lot to learn as far as working professionally versus what you were doing as a student?
Yeah, different, was more, we still have the pressure, but not that much.
Really?
They give you they have the time frame to do the stuff, but you don't have that pressure to do it right away. If you have any problems, you can ask them and they can help you.
Yeah.
I learned how to work as a team member, and I learned a little bit about the industry too.
Yeah.
I also work for this editorial contact me to illustrate a book that is on Amazon too. It's about a science fiction drama novel, something like that.
I saw, I think on your Instagram, that you had done a book cover for this book called Ceres de Repuesto.
Yeah.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah, that was a freelance work.
Yeah, how did you get connected with the author for that?
I took a little course that the editorial gave about how to write books and how to organize your stuff and how to sell your books. It was something like that. I learned how to organize my ideas, how to write a book, how to get the contacts. Maybe like editorial houses for if you have an idea for a book, or be your own self-publisher on Amazon. Yeah, I learned that, and after that they contacted me due to my portfolio. The owner told me, like, I saw your work and I think you will be a perfect fit for this.
Did you enjoy creating your own book? Is that something you'd want to do again? Yeah,
I actually going to start working on some self-published book. A friend, she's writing one. One other friend kind of recommended me to do the book, and she contacted me. And
that's great.
I'm going to start working on that.
So we can keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
What is that book about?
I still don't know.
Okay.
It was very recent.
It's very early.
She just gave me some of the material and started reading a little bit.
Yeah. Have you had much of a chance to travel around the U.S. much?
Yeah. Well, in recent years, went to Florida, Orlando, Miami. I also traveled to Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
That was the beginning of the year. I always like to go to Atlanta sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I have
what do you like
many
to do
friends there. I don't know, just meet my friends there.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to all the museums. I even went to the SCAD fashion museums, and they have a lot of...
Oh, what is that like?
One year they have like these high heels, but with crazy designs heels.
Yeah. Do you like to go out and draw on site in places, or do you like to take photos and then go back to your studio and work?
Mostly I took pictures and draw on my own in my home, but sometimes... Something I like to do is go to the beach and start sketching there with my watercolors.
Because I know you've done, in your Instagram, there was like a period where you were doing Inktober and you did a new drawing every day. Do you like sort of challenges like that force you to do a certain thing every day?
Yeah, I used to like it. Right now I don't have the time to do it because it's always something that goes in the way.
Yeah.
And I cannot draw every day. Even the time I start that one, I got like 17 drawings, and then due to schoolwork I cannot continue.
Well, that's pretty good. If you were in school at the same time, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there was too much work at that time. I was like, cannot continue.
And you were doing those in marker on paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you make a mistake in marker, is there a way to fix it? What do you do for that?
There's no way to fix it.
Okay.
There is a way to fix it with paint, acrylic paint. Okay. And you have to hide that you make that mistake. Okay. But the best thing to do for markers and everything is not making mistakes.
Yeah, there's no easy way.
Especially if there is like a dark colors marker, something like that. There is another way with a blender that you can push the paint to one side, but with some markers that's not possible.
I was thinking of a blender. I hadn't used markers since going to SCAD, so it's been so long, and I was trying to remember. I was like, there is one sort of clear marker that you can apply, and it like waters it down a little bit and starts pushing
but it never goes away, but it's easier to cover with paint.
Yeah, it just makes a mess, right? Markers are hard.
Yeah, you have to do it very quickly.
Yeah. You had a whole series on your Instagram also of these portraits that you did using Procreate, and They were cool looking where the person's skin tone would usually be black and white, and then there would just be a little pop of color somewhere.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
The theme of those ones was isolating one color and
Yeah.
then the rest in black and white. I did 3 portraits of that. Then I make several series, like different methods to work with.
Yeah.
One was that, like isolating one color. The other one was creating with 3 colors with markers. I did another one with pointillism and some kind of abstract art too.
Okay. Like these are different
Yeah.
challenges that you took on. Are these outside things that you came across, or you just came up with this for yourself? Are these like like hashtag challenges kind of thing?
The 3 color thing, yes. There was
Okay.
a page that they challenge people to do it. And the other one's just kind of like trying to do different stuff.
Okay. And I saw, and there's another like hashtag challenge that was called Toon Me Challenge, like TOON, so making yourself
Yeah, I
into
did
a
that.
cartoon.
I still is my profile picture.
Yeah.
I
that's
want to
cool.
change it, but I want to do something else. And still kind of figure it out what.
It is kind of funny, just the idea to think of looking at yourself as a cartoon is probably like a surreal kind of thing to think of.
I did myself just half me, half painting me, like realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to make me as a cartoon
What
at
is
that time.
What is the difference? So I know I use Photoshop a lot in my work. I've never used Procreate. What are kind of the differences in those? Like, what would you use them for?
Well, basically, Photoshop is to edit pictures. You have like the draw features and everything, but it's kind of like focus on too much stuff, not just drawing. Procreate is more focused to draw. That's the main difference. And of course, Photoshop have more tools and everything. But those tools work for other stuff other than drawing.
Okay. Is Procreate more specific with the kind of brushes you can choose and the like effects of it?
Yeah, and the good thing I can even export my Photoshop brushes and use there.
Yeah.
For sketching, I think it was more comfortable, but I think that was due to the screen.
Okay.
Because before I don't have my tablet. I have my tablet, but they have no screen on it.
So it's very small.
Yeah, I used to have one, like, was very small, like the beginner one.
Yeah.
Then I have to change to another better one, a bigger one.
Yeah.
Because it was too small for some details.
Yes, this is like expenses to take on.
And the one with the screen is easier to make the details and everything there because you are actually seeing it. And
Yeah.
because it's kind of weird that you are looking your screen and you have to paint without
looking at your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, well, I get used to it, but way more.
Yeah, I never even thought of that until you described it. But yeah, the
Yeah.
idea where you're like looking up at a screen, but your hand is down doing something is very odd feeling.
Yeah.
We used to have to do, I remember, just as an exercise where you randomly, like in figure drawing class or something, just to keep your eyes on what you're drawing and then not look down at your hand as you draw. And then when you finally look down to see how weird it looks, like how disconnected the thing is. And we would do it as just like a very brief exercise. So it's interesting to think about having to create a whole piece like that, not looking at your hand. So you started in 2024, I guess, teaching at Scribble Art Studio. How did that come about?
Well, I was walking. I saw their sign, and I get their number from their side. I called them like, "Hey, I'm looking for work to teach or something." Yeah, they contact me, and I became one of the instructors there. I've been with them since 2023.
Okay.
Teaching kids, adults, and pretty much everyone.
Yeah. And they're on 37th Street, right?
Yeah, they're
in
very
Starland, yeah,
close by.
So it's kids and adults.
Have portfolio builders where we help the kids to get a portfolio to apply to the Savannah Arts Academy
Okay.
and other art schools around Savannah, like high schools.
Yeah.
They also have like regular art classes for everyone who still sees this as a hobby or something.
Yeah.
For my classes for adults, I teach watercolor and acrylic.
Okay.
Because I got students that they always want to learn watercolor. They have all the materials most of the time, but they don't know how to use it. And that's why I came here and say like, hey, you can use this like this.
What kind of, so if somebody takes a class from you, what kind of painting will they end up coming out with?
I have like this sketchbook where I have some paint, and I tell them you can choose one of these to do. I always suggest like I have like a beginner ones and a very intermediate ones, and hard ones.
Okay. Are they landscapes? Or?
Yeah, they're landscapes, and mostly they choose the same one all the time.
Oh,
It's at
everybody in
beach.
the class will take the same
Yeah, I have like bunch of paintings of the same beach. Like is one like in the sunset. We use like orange, blue colors, all kind of colors there.
They all choose that one?
They always choose that one.
Okay.
I don't know why. I always kind of like avoiding to show them sometimes.
Yeah. So is this, are they coming and it's just one class they take, or is it like multiple weeks? And
They're multiple weeks.
Okay.
And I also teach like abstract drawing in those cases. The first thing I do is teaching the techniques. Then we move on with the painting.
Yeah.
And this abstract painting, I told them, apply everything I teach you, all the techniques, like watercolor techniques. It's kind of like a freedom draw.
Yeah.
They have a lot of freedom to do whatever they like, but they have to apply everything they learn.
That's funny because you don't have much of your work like in your portfolio or on your website that's abstract. So it's different.
Yeah, no, that's different. Like I don't show it because it's not something that I want to show.
Really?
It's not because it's bad, but it's just like a practice, an exercise for my students. Something very free. If I want to do it something like that, I need to plan it more for portfolio purposes.
Okay.
But this one is more like for teaching purposes.
So when you're teaching them, what are your practices for starting off in abstract? Like what's the starting point?
Could start making lines, shapes, figures. I will say backgrounds, like trying to do a background with different colors, a little randomly. Or maybe you can do a part of a sky with some clouds, but then transform it into lines. Let's say make that with a purpose, not just randomly. Think about what you're gonna add on your painting, what you could do to make your paint like have some kind of sense, even if it's just for the person. But like have like a purpose, not something randomly or something like just because.
Okay.
Like I always tell them, like make your own word and make your painting have some kind of meaning just for you.
Do you like to do, are most of your classes watercolor because it dries so quickly, so it's easy for students to do?
No, actually watercolor is kind of hard because there's no room for mistakes, or there's a little room for mistakes because, like you say, it's dry fast. And once you apply the color, it's quite hard to erase or kind of fix some mistakes.
Yeah.
You could do it, but it requires a lot of practice.
Do you find the students, they tend to not like watercolor?
No, they like it because it's also like a very, let's say, I guess it's kind of fun to do it. Using the water and you can spread the color. When it's dry, get some nice textures and you can be way creative with that. Yeah, and once you get to other wash media, like acrylic, oil, or wash, it's easier because for those techniques, you can make mistakes and cover it up with layers.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake in one of the spots, you can actually put some water on top of it.
Yeah.
Just cover the area with water, and with a dry brush, you can actually absorb that part.
Yeah, you have to be fast to catch it.
Once it's you dry, have to do it fast, and you have to use a very dry brush to kind of remove that area. It will not remove completely.
Yeah.
But you can add something on top, or maybe what paint, depends on.
Or you can switch to it being an acrylic painting, and then you can paint over it. Basically.
Yeah, sometimes I do that because it's impossible to fix some mistakes.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
So you've been teaching there consistently since 2023. So your day-to-day life, how is it balanced out? Like how many days a week do you go teach? And then on the other days, do you still have that graphic design job you mentioned?
No, that was just for 1 year.
Okay. Yeah, so how are your days balanced out with teaching versus your own work?
Well, as one of my professors suggests, you need to get other jobs to pay the bills and everything while you're doing art. So you have to make a little balance between those. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Right now I feel like getting more freelance. I want to be like more freelance artist. So when I stop doing the other works, I kind of start doing that, but I also get other jobs in other places. So that help me pay the bills, the materials and everything until I kind of get clients and stuff like that.
How many days a week do you teach at Scribble?
From Monday to Wednesday.
Okay.
And I found this also, there's a website I found, it's called Superproof, which they have tutors to teach anything.
Oh, okay.
So I started that too.
Superproof. Okay. Can people just look you up on that and see the
they make you follow some steps so they can recommend your page or something like that.
Cool.
And I got one student so far. I started like a month ago, something like that.
Yeah. You're teaching over Zoom, or like you're recording videos and then the person watches it? How does
I can teach like in person if someone from Savannah wants to have a class, or online.
Okay.
They have like a platform to video recording, or well, it's not video recording, it's still like make a video call.
Yeah. Is this like people can request learning a specific kind of thing?
Yeah, I think they can propose a class, but well, most of the time they have like a propose button. Like propose the class, I put the time, how many hours, and the subject, something like that.
Cool.
So they have to accept it, they make the payment, and we can start the class. We can use their system, the video call system, or any other like Google Meet or Zoom.
Yeah, that seems promising.
Yeah, it's better use the other platforms because it's easier to they can see you paint.
Yeah.
So and for those kind of classes, for this person, I told them like, what do you need to do? He sent me a picture. Then I have to draw it myself, and I teach how to do it from there.
Wow, so it's almost an audition.
Yeah.
I saw on your Instagram you recently had a painting you finished that was really beautiful, and it looked like a commission, and it was very detailed, like a landscape with a deer and a gazebo.
Yeah, that was in December.
Okay, and you kind of posted about it. You said how technically challenging it was, that it got very hard in the middle, which I like when people are really honest and talk about kind of how much effort and work goes into it and how you're learning as you go through the painting. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, in that sense, I think it's been a while. I draw on a canvas. I don't know if it was the canvas, the paint. I think it's the acrylics itself, because it's kind of weird. It comes with the quality of the acrylics. Some of them have very low quality things. Most of them, I guess. I haven't found a brand or acrylic that is good as the Rembrandt one.
Okay.
They don't sell the Rembrandt's acrylics here.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's that specific kind of acrylic that I think is the best. And even in the website, they say it's the best quality they have. But it's hard to find it here in the US.
So what was the paint that you were using doing?
I found that, I guess it's the second best option, the Bleak Art Materials brand, the Utrecht. Well, someone explained to me about the quality of the acrylic. So there's like low quality. They use more water on the pigment. There's like intermediate quality. It's like kind of 50-50 between the pigment and water.
Yeah.
And there's the other ones that, like we say, like the professional ones. They use most of the pigment and they are easier to mix. The color is not that opaque when you mix the colors. And actually the quality is better.
Okay.
And he told me about this additive for the paint that it makes more fluid.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't want to just add water, because like you're saying that it just becomes like it flows better, but it's just not as saturated. So you need this additive. So what is it about this painting what part of this painting was so hard? Was it the gazebo was like very specific to paint?
Yeah, that was actually one of the hard parts, like the columns. And was a little hard also the trees, the forest in the back.
Yeah.
Getting the specific amount of leaves, trees, and everything that have some depth to it.
Yeah, it's a very detailed painting.
That was hard at the beginning.
How was the concept of this painting? Did this person approach you with like
the person gave me a bunch of pictures and described me this place that belongs to their parents, like the backyard. They have the gazebo, and she told me like there's some deer sometimes over there. So I have to reimagine the backyard, and they have like a forest in the back too.
Were they very happy with it at the end?
Yeah, they were very happy.
That's good. Was it hard to come up with? I feel like it can be hard to come up with pricing when you first get into doing commissioned pieces of like, because you have to imagine how long it's going to take you to do it.
Yeah, I still having some issues with the time. I guess when I 100% fully dedicated to art and not to other jobs, I guess it would be easier. But as a beginning to be a freelance, I guess I have to make time for everything and organize a little better.
Do you want to get more commission jobs? Is that the direction you like to go in?
Yeah, I'm trying to go through that direction. I have a few commissions right now and try to finish. They commissioned me a church, the St. John's Cathedral. I am finished that one, but it took me a long time. It was very detailed.
Yeah.
Have a lot of little stuff, the church, like little roof, little windows, too much columns. I thought it was gonna take me less time because I have done stuff like that before, but the cathedral have like a lot of ornaments and decorations
and architecture is hard.
The architecture,
it has to look perfect. The drawing of it.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until I started because even the surroundings, they were not that hard. It's the church itself like took me a long time to finish. Yeah. It took forever, and that's the kind of stuff you learn. Like doing commissions.
Yeah. So it's exciting to be done with that.
Yeah, and I also have one commission of pet portrait.
Oh, yeah.
Making a little cat. That's almost done too.
So we can see that on your Instagram when you finish.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Cool.
That one.
I guess also the other recent project you did was you did a mural with another artist in town, Nico Moscosa?
Yeah,
right?
He got this idea to make a mural and he asked me for help because I got a little experience with it.
Yeah.
That would be my fourth mural. Because I have worked with two other murals, once for one restaurant in Rincon called All Things Chocolate and More.
Okay.
And I make another one with another artist in an Airbnb. It's outside.
Outside, okay.
In the backyard.
Outside is so challenging. The paint is totally different. You have to be protected from the weather. Protected.
The water is not the problem, it's the sun. You need to find paint that can can resist against the sun.
How did you like working so large like that?
Well, that particular was challenging because the wood have irregular texture.
Right. The planks of wood of the house.
Yeah, and it was kind of hard to get some details.
Yeah.
It's not like a plain surface.
Yeah, you can't be as tiny details like you would on your landscape.
Yeah, I have to plan that, but that gave me experience to do more stuff.
Yeah.
I helped this restaurant to get like the logo outside the place. The same way we make the mural with Nico.
Okay. And what restaurant is this?
It's Troupial.
Okay. Did they recently move from where they were?
Yeah. Well, not recently. They have to shut down operations in the previous place they had. Then they got the new one. They're still they're preparing everything to open.
Okay. So when it opens, we'll see your mural in there. I saw, so the photos of the mural inside, it's these very 3D looking squares and they're very geometric and it has to be kind of perfect. How did you guys do all that?
Well, Nico is the one who got the idea of getting the squares. His art is focused on geometric figures, squares especially. So he got the idea to put squares everywhere, and when he lay out the squares on the wall, he's noticed that there were little spaces in blank or larger areas that he didn't know what to do with it. And I told him, why we don't put the logo of the cafeteria and we do little psychedelic things, so we make those lines. The bird just kind of like get these lines or the different color and kind of psychedelic with the music notes getting outside of the square. It's like the bird's frame have like this psychedelic effect.
Yeah. The 3D squares are like a frame around, and then in the center is kind of a
it's kind of waves
design.
Wave psychedelic design. That's how we call it.
Yeah. Is murals a direction you'd be happy to get more jobs in?
I guess inside, because the experience outside was terrible unless it's winter. But I remember we started mural between fall and summer, and the heat was horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we spent like 10 minutes and we were already like water.
Okay, so generally, if you're looking ahead at what we can keep an eye out for you for the next year, and what you're interested in is the classes on Superproof, and you're open to commissioned work. And
yeah, well, right now also making some paints. Do one portrait, well, two. But yes, I want to get more jobs. I have these two portraits. I have another landscape. I already started that one too, but I'm gonna work it with oil, and I realized that it's hard. I have painted oil before, but I don't remember that were that hard to get the materials, and all the materials that I need was quite a lot. And I need like a safe space to work because of the chemicals
fumes,
that
yeah.
I use to clean the brushes are a
Yeah.
little toxic. And the art store recommended me one that is the most friendly toxic one, but
a certain brand that's less toxic.
yeah, I
James?
think it's Gamsol, something like that.
Okay.
I want to get back to oils, but I think it's been like 10 years since I haven't done one.
Yeah. So you have to buy all this stuff. It's different
I
brushes.
have to buy
too.
all the
You
paints.
have to buy brushes, and then
The brushes, I have the brushes.
Okay, and then the turpentine to clean.
But the brushes at the time I bought it were really expensive. I spent on. Right now I have to buy little by little
Yeah.
because they got really expensive, and the professional ones are way too expensive, because in the past I didn't buy professional brushes or anything.
Right.
They weren't that expensive, but right now I have to do it. I know it's not necessary, but makes my life easier somehow. Yeah, I noticed when I use different kind of brushes, or brushes specifically for example watercolor, they work better with the materials, and it's easier for me to do the stuff and quicker.
It's hard, I guess, for each different like genre of painting for someone to get into. It's just initially like a lot to take on, to buy, and then you have them for ages, but at the beginning it's so much. So now you'll be all stocked up for oils once you finish that.
Yeah, no, I gonna see how that goes. I already have the place to work with, a ventilated area, so I don't have those chemicals.
Okay.
But oil paint is very kind of easy to work with because you just kind of blend layers. There is the advantage that takes a long time to get dry, so you can
keep fixing,
move stuff here, fix some details.
Anything else you want to kind of leave us with at the end of what thoughts about Savannah or anything?
Well, I'd really like to work like in cafeterias around the town. I bring my sketchbook, watercolors, comfortable feeling in some cafeterias.
Yeah, like
Also,
that's a goal you want to start doing.
Yeah, also in the park. There's a lot of inspirations here. I take pictures from here to there. I guess it's a very nice town to be an artist.
It is. It is a very nice town to be an artist. Okay. Well, so I guess we will keep an eye out and see if we do end up seeing you around at parks and cafeterias drawing. Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me today.
You're welcome. And thank you for inviting me.
Of course, my pleasure. So this has been Armando Nieto, and thank you for listening. This is Tamara Garvey with Arts on the Air.